That's a good win
so.
any way you slice it. Questionable commentator, but hell of a player.
Jeff always gives me a good laugh and a smile, just like reminds me of Keitaro. So
he's a funny guy. All right, Salem versus Mew2King. Salem tears through some Meta Knights, man. His match with Tyrant from that Midwest joint. That was a hell of a battle.
The only worry that I have here is that M2K, knowing Salem and knowing his capabilities, I'm afraid that we're just going to see textbook M2K, and not in a bad way, but in a smart way. Salem works off momentum, he works off pace, and the fact of the matter is if M2K takes a quick lead on him, he knows Zerazu's going to struggle to get him off the ledge and get him back on.
That's where Mew2King excels, at forcing you to chase him and get that kill. So if he gets that first kill on you, you're in a lot of trouble.
And, you know, sometimes it's cheesy, but sometimes you can't hate the player. You got to hate the game when you're dealing with it.
I've said it a million times. You don't play $10 for nothing.
I mean, it sucks, and it sucks for the, you know, it sucks to watch sometimes, but guys, we are talking play to win here, and I mean, it almost is a note to the player to let them know, look, you are such a force. I don't want to be on stage dealing with that right now.
You think the way Mew2King plays bad as now, man? If this man was black, he had a family to feed. He would never get off that ledge.
Be there putting in the work, and Salem always just with that jaw-dropping tech as he manages to just get a footstool, but
all items are gone, and they didn't do too much.
No,
he's only at 40.
But at the same point, they did do their work. That 40 to 50% early on is going to give Salem just that little bit less work he needs to do.
Yeah, he'll take anything against Mew2King, no doubt.
As Salem's shield already wearing down, and Mew2King really looking straight into the tornado theory.
He knows that shield, you know, if it's weak, that's when Nado's most effective. Oh, Salem, I'm not sure what he okay, brings this back, though.
Goodness gracious, man. Just do me a favor and strip the words, you know, counting him out of my vocabulary, because that's just... There's so many panic button options that could have gone on there, and just the sheer state of mind. There's no other words. You hear it in the NBA, that's a state of mind situation. You just stay calm and know my character has the ability. But getting back to the match here, M2K has established the lead, and he's doing a great job of defending against those stunners. Not even making it sound like he's fighting against Stone Cold. But no, I mean, there it is. Just every one of them having either the tornado to block, shielding them, or just not letting it go off.
Salem is not behind by far at all. And Salem's another one of those players who's really good under pressure, I think. You don't really see him lose his cool too often.
Great option for up air there. Really caught M2K in a tight scenario, managing to pop him up. I wish he had followed up a little bit more. And
jumps into that down air though. All right, now this is where Mew2King.
Yeah, this is where
the pace is gonna slow just a tad.
And this is where I had worried just a little bit. It seems like M2K is still being aggressive, a little passive aggressive, but he is still being aggressive.
He's picking his spots.
And this is what he wants to do. It looks like he's being much more methodical in his ways to really pick apart Salem when he's on the ledge. He wants to see where he is. He wants to see the spacing and see if he can capitalize.
He uses the stock, you know, he takes full advantage of it, makes the most of it, and he also uses it to kind of build on what he's going to do when he comes back, because he's going to know a few more habits that he did
break you down a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And Salem finally landed that kill option there, getting to
only
the back.
Only taking 47%, not too bad.
Yeah, and he got to the back of M2K shielded. It was a very impressive hit. M2K getting away from that fair, only getting 6% out of the 12.
A lot of patience from Mew2King here.
Then really just forcing the hand to Salem. He's really forcing him into the follow-ups and abusing it. I mean, every up air attempt we've seen from Salem as of right now has been countered with a solid down air. And NATO theory is definitely putting a damper on Salem's parade.
I mean, it's just so effective. There's no reason not to use it.
And I mean, I know there are counters to Tornado, there always are, but applying them can require some serious spacing and some situational awareness that may be hard to apply against M2K. I think that side B there was looking for the edge, and M2K actually using the side B to cover there on the ledge, so side B beating side B.
Salem getting back strong.
And yet again, though, M2K taking no stun from the stunners. It's just not happening. He shielded everyone or used the NATO to get around the stun gun. It's been very solid because Salem
power shielding everything.
That was one of the few that's actually connected. And I mean, that's a key part of Salem's gameplay is working on
being able to slow you down and then just come in your face and put that damage on.
Yes,
but these things having none of it.
And M2K building up that lead now, and we're getting the last stock with almost 3 minutes, you know, getting to that 3.5 minute marker here. So, but M2K not looking like the game plan has changed
He
here.
doesn't have a dominant lead. Salem can bring this back.
He definitely could, but M2K is going to use this to his advantage and really make sure he tacks on every bit he has. Salem with those wonderful footstool recoveries.
Yeah, those are so tricky. You don't expect it ever.
And I mean, like, sometimes he doesn't get much out of him besides a safe landing, but what else are you really asking for? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, you may not
be back on the stage.
It's all you can ask for. I mean, which is a scary thought to think of how much work you're putting in just to get a safe landing, for goodness sake.
This guy makes you work for everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Solid fair there.
Nice.
Wow, caught me
unable to DI it. Salem a little light at the end of this tunnel.
And but he is sitting at the same percent deficit that he was last time.
And he's too close to that edge.
And the percents that he's killing M2K at and the way that he's building up that percent is just not working out in a fashion that's looking like he's going to win. That comeback factor is going to need to happen as a nice little string pops off there. Salem following up a forward throw with a fair, landed another fair. Oh,
Mew2King is sticking to the game plan.
He tried to get real cute there, getting the down B to directly up into the up B, but M2K doing.
He stuck to the game plan. It was flawless for the most part. He didn't dominate him, but he stayed enough in the lead where it was easy.
And he just pressed Salem's hand enough. You know, he knew the scenarios. He had Salem at the percent Salem did not want to be at the end of every single one of his stocks, and just left Salem in a really not even lackluster position, but a position that was going to make him work a lot more.
Especially when he forced him towards the ledge.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like Salem would have worked better in the middle of the stage, but Mew2King just the pressure he just applied
and
put him exactly where he needed it.
And unfortunately, that last stock there did kind of just go, flush in the toilet, unfortunately, because it wasn't played out properly by Salem. And that's something you don't see very often from the guy. He's usually very on point. So to see someone, I mean, that's how I could really say he was pressing his hand, was that you could see he was hitting a couple panic button options, which is not something I'm used to seeing Salem.
Uncommon from him. He's only been in the scene for a short amount of time, about a year. But from what we've seen from him, what we're used to, that's
the comeback factor is usually so strong, and that's why I was so surprised because of the fact that there's such a cool and collected sense with that. But M2K does that to players. He puts a lot of pressure on innately, and there's no way around the thought that, hey man, this guy can and will beat me. So I wonder who M2K's played in bracket to get thus far here.
Not too sure, really. Unless it's been on stream, I haven't really been keeping it.
I haven't seen much.
The setups are so spread.
Yeah, they're both sides of the venue. And we're starting to draw a crowd here as it's really getting interesting.
Well, anytime Salem's playing.
Well, I think after that, I think after Zero's last match with Nairo, though, the crowd just stuck around because that's really what brought it about.
It's that time in tournament.
Oh, man, and now M2K has let these pieces sit on the ground, and Salem's going to look for that quick 50%er.
Salem's got no problem with those items sticking around.
And just covering the ground as M2K's forced into up air approaches. There we go, getting it off, but already at his 46%. Salem so steady with that 50% marker from the pieces. I still remember my matches with Salem at Apex, and the fact of the matter was, the only things I remembered specifically were always the beginning of every match. I did what I had to get those pieces out of there, man. That guy cannot have armor pieces.
As we can see, it's a lot more effective this one than Mew2King, already 93.
Yes. And, I mean, it's that early 50% marker from the pieces, but Mew2King putting together a string there, ending with the shuttle loop that puts him back within 23%, 10% of Salem.
He's still going to stick to his game plan.
But still so efficient at staying away, or proficient, I should say, at staying away from any of the down smash, neutral B. I mean, any stunner combo that Salem has attempted to break out, it's not been effective against M2K. Yet again, finding himself out of range on that punish from landing the stun gun, just, man.
He knows how to avoid it.
I'm surprised, though. Salem was still with the stock lead. He's keeping M2K on the outskirts. He says, if you want to dodge my stunners, that's fine, but the fact of the matter is,
got plenty more for you.
He's still you still get hit by the follow-ups. Yeah.
There it is.
You know what? Make it count when you got it. It doesn't matter how bad your percent is. If that 1% means you got a kill from it, that's still 100% of the kill percent from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way you phrased that.
such an interesting way back on stage. It may have just been a jump air dodge, but you
It's
just
so
never
it's so hard to get back on
you just
stage.
never expect it from a ZSS, you know? We have seen so few of them, and the fluid motion of the movement. Unfortunately, that roll wasn't too fluid as M2K read it like an open book and punished it real hard.
They reset the match real quick.
Actually putting percent lead back in his court, something M2K loves to have.
Out of nowhere, and it can just come so fast.
Salem standing off a little bit, trying to establish some ground control. Not finishing that jab combo, which is a very common trait of ZSS. Those second and third hits of the jab combo come out very slow.
Rare stunner actually connects, but unable to make
And
too much out of it.
I feel like it's starting to almost... It's breaking Salem down into not even following up too well on his stunners because he's so used to a poor percentage of connections. Wow, and no down B, no jump. Salem smiling. It looks like that might have just been an SD gone wrong. Well, I don't think it got gone right. And this is nightmare territory as M2K is sitting under 50 with more than a full stock ahead. Just goodness gracious.
Yeah, this is one of the few times where it's like, you know, the comeback is just a bit unlikely.
Wow, that's that ZSS and that Salem, because even with Pat G, he still found his way back.
Well, as far as being tricky, you know, Salem
takes the cake. He is a slippery kind of guy.
He's a true black man. He's gonna take that away from him.
Oh wow, and a real late hit on the down B there. I was very surprised.
Another air dodge not working out. Mew2King all over.
And Mew2King just forcing out those down B options so he can pop Salem up again and just keep the juggle going. I mean, seemed very well aware that Mew2King knows he can keep Salem in the air with quite a level of proficiency. Doesn't care if he recovers on the edge. He wants him jumping over it. He was just like that. He's going to let him get on that platform because he's been fiending those up airs.
Salem not giving this up though yet. He says, hey, you might get the stop, but I'm gonna look damn good doing making you try and get off.
And Mew2King literally just standing there watching Salem do whatever he wants at the ledge because there's just so much. We're talking almost double percent in M2K's favor plus a stock. I mean, the man has no reason to work on anything. As that up air almost kills.
I mean, you know he's in a couple.
Salem getting that towel ready. Oh,
wow, even
we know he's going to make it back. And yet again, M2K saying, come on, I'm still here.
And that'll seal it at last. Good effort by Salem.
And I have to say, I think they've played a couple times now, and I really don't think that M2K's ever been very uncomfortable fighting Salem. I mean, we know that
seems like he has that matchup down.
And I mean, it's weird because he said himself that he has the higher tier matchups pretty on lock, but the more obscure ones, such as ZSS, you don't see many of them rolling around much more.
Which is it's just surprising that he knows what kind of
exactly, you know, like that's it.
Especially against Salem of all, there's arguably the best one. Arguably.
So many people thought they could take that name down, including Adamus, including quite a few different people, but it's really taken some top-level people such as M2K and Vinny to really have consistent positive records on Salem.
His first tournament, man. Beat King 2, beat Will.